everybody, this is Ryan over at High Carb Generator. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about what sugar has done to my blood work. But before I do that, I'm going to go watch, we're all going to go watch a video that I did a while ago. I'm going to patch it in here. I probably should have just brought it up, but I didn't. Of somebody that studies sugar quite a bit. Now, I know his diet isn't vegan or anything like that, but his studies on sugar is quite amazing. So here he is. His name is Georgie. He was being interviewed by, I forget what her name is. I don't even know if I know what her name is, but here's the video.
Extra calories on top in the form of pure sugar, I don't think you'll be causing a problem. In fact, you'll be increasing the metabolic rate. Several studies, that study in rats was actually, there's several citations inside of it discussing older human studies where adding up to a pound of sugar per day, pure sugar, nothing else. I guess they were just mixing it with drinks. It actually led to improvement in glycemic control in people with type 1 diabetes. So these people don't even produce any insulin. So actually improved their glycemic control, allowed them to reduce the amount of insulin they were using, which is pretty striking. I mean, like for diabetes type 2, it also had beneficial effect. Actually, it reduced the level of fatty infiltration of their liver. Most people with type 2 diabetes have fatty liver disease as well. And then now that study showed that basically like the study with the rats confirmed that the same thing happens in animals. And recently there was a human study demonstrating that adding a pound of sugar per day resulted in a drastic improvement of fertility in males. Now, why do I mention this? Because fertility in both males and females is actually one of the cardinal biomarkers of good health.
And we're back. And what I wanted to go over today is my blood work. And you can see it says hello Ryan at the top. So this really isn't relevant to x-rays, MRI, but and honestly, the vitamin D isn't terribly relevant either. But you can see everybody says that your iron's going to go down on a plant-based or vegan diet. And if you look, it's all in the normal. If you click on here, you can usually see what the normal range is. Mine's 125. 150 is the top of that. I mean, I don't know if everybody wants me to click on all of these, but I'm pretty dead middle in a lot of just about everything. The reason this was actually ordered was because of my sleep issues. And one of the sleep issues is vitamin D being low. Did they test it twice? It looks like they tested it twice for whatever reason there. And ferritin was normal. So ferritin levels was 123. The top end is 300. Mine was 123. It's still within normal. And then my hemoglobin is actually high. I'm actually got the hemoglobin of basically a doper. There was another test, and I think it was done by Cleveland Clinic, which I didn't bring up here, but where it was 18.2 or 18.5. This is 17.8, and the top end is 17.5. But you could see everything is pretty normal. If you really want me to go in depth in this, just let me know down in the comments, and I can bring this back up and go back into depth. This is what I really am bringing this up for, not the vitamin D, which just kept going down and down and down and down. Is the TSH. So TSH 2.3. The top end is 3.98. So mine never really got up there. I know people have asked me. Somebody had like a 9 the other day in the DMs, and I didn't. I unfortunately haven't gotten back to them yet because there's so many messages, and that is insane. That is insane. So the reason I'm showing this to you is I started adding in sugar after this. This was December. I probably should have put this up at the beginning, but I started putting in sugar. So I just wanted everybody to see what happens when you start adding sugar into your diet. So this is when I was I was doing the 50-50 plate. So it was still keeping my iron normal because my 50-50 plate largely consisted of potatoes. If you have low iron, really just start adding in the potatoes. Don't rice isn't going to help you. Any vegetable or anything that grows in the ground is going to have iron in it. I know rice does have iron in it, but potatoes is significantly higher. To the point where that Andrew Taylor, the guy that lived on nothing but potatoes for a year, they actually thought he was doping at one point because his iron and hemoglobin got so high, but it was just because of the potatoes. Anyway, so back to this, and then my T4 was low. So here's the T4, 0.61 to 1.12. And keep those numbers in the back of your mind. As you see, everything's normal. Now this, on the other hand, testosterone is very not great. So it's kind of weird because 300 is considered the normal range, but because nobody wants to hand out... I should have brought up the Cleveland Clinic one. You know, I'm going to bring up the Cleveland Clinic one. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. It took a year and a half to get in here. So, unfortunately, Cleveland Clinics is a little more of a pain in the ass. You got to click on each one. But I find it interesting. So, right before I had the surgery, which was April 2nd of 2020, and in these tests, the world was still normal. But they tested my TSH, and this was when I was doing the 50-50 plate, like 100% dedicated to 50-50 plate. And I'm sorry, Cleveland Clinic's website, for as much money as they have, takes forever to pull things up. And you can see how high it is comparatively to even 2021 when I was kind of coming off the... I really started noticing how terrible. Where is it? Oh, here it is. 2.35, 3.0, 3.0 basically. But you can see the difference. This was me on the 50-50 plate, shunning sugar. Let's see what the T4 was. I promise I hit the back button, but I'm going to probably have to cut some of this stuff. If you see a lot of cuts, it's just because Cleveland Clinic's website is just absolutely asinine slow. It's ridiculous. All right. I'm going to have to jump cut this, but just so you guys see just how slow Cleveland Clinic's internet or server is, my download speed is 889.5 megabits a second, and my upload is 9.22. So that is how ridiculous a multi-billion-dollar company's website is. That is absolutely pathetic. So here is everybody wants to know my A1C. So let's look at that. My hemoglobin A1C is 4.3 or 4.8%, 4.3 being the bottom, 5.6. I mean, so it's like dead middle. And estimated average glucose is 91 milligrams. So there's one of them. And here's another jump cut. Oh, wow. This one's not too bad. This is nuts. And then here's my T4. This is all from over 2 years ago. Almost 3 years ago now at this point. 1.1. Wow. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. All right, in October of 21, I think I was playing around again with the 50-50 plate. So let's see where that's at. So it had come down quite a bit. But this is, all right, so I was playing around with the 50-50 plate, but I was also adding in a lot of these things, these gumdrops, the sugar. I mean, it's basically one of these packs is 1,000 calories. So you could see that it was actually starting to normalize again. But that 50-50 plate, when I was just strictly on a 50-50 plate, it was at a 3.0. That's nuts. And then for somebody to tell me that theirs was at a 9, I mean, that thing's basically, your thyroid's just not working anymore. All right, here you go with my hemoglobin's high again, but you can see everything else is normal. Hemoglobin's always high, which is why my endurance is abnormally high. All right, so this is high, this is high. This actually means that you really don't eat that much protein, quite honestly. And honestly, these numbers were really off when I was on my keto life. It was way over 24. I don't have those tests anymore. That was all paper. And this was over. The protein was over. The protein was, I forget, like 12 or something. I mean, it was really, all these things were off. And now you can see that they've mostly normalized. These just mean that your protein's low. Everybody always wants to know about B12. My B12 is 498. I know the upper range, and especially in like Japan, I think the low range in Japan is 1,000. I know I could get it up. But when my numbers are like this, they're not going to give me the injection. And the injection is by script only in America. So the odds of me finding some, and honestly, it's a toss-up because that also raises your hemoglobin. And my hemoglobin at the last test, I don't know why it's not on any of these things, was an 18.2. I don't know where the hell it was done. I don't think I've done anything at Metro. Anyway, the reason I clicked on here, hopefully most people have probably checked out by now, but here it is. So the Cleveland Clinic, a testosterone level in the 193 to 320 range with associated clinical symptoms is considered low and may indicate hypogonad. So your nuts don't work, your testosterone's not working. You can see the ranges here, and this was low. So the reason for this huge sideshow over here was just to show that at the end here where my testosterone has actually gone. So you can see we're back here in 2021. Most of my levels are normal, but it had risen a little bit from adding sugar, but 265 obviously is low. My B's are always fine. This was, somebody thought I had blood. I'm like, you guys are nuts. You guys are just trying to test me for no reason here. The ferritin actually came up too from adding sugar. Wow, quite a bit. So the ferritin even came up from just stopping the 50-50 plate. That's nuts. Yeah, wow. That's crazy. So, all right, so here we go again. These levels are low because I don't have a lot of protein in my diet. All of these numbers are pretty much affected by protein. My sodium's fine. I know I made a video about that the other day. Glucose is fine. I mean, everybody is always like, "Oh, you got to have diabetes," from all that that you're eating, and I'm like, okay. Iron once again, is fine. It's pretty much the exact same numbers as the last time. Hemoglobin went up again. I know there was an 18.2, 18.2. I don't know where the hell that one is. But anyway, I mean, this honestly, this number right here is something very desirable, but it also can cause a stroke. So take the good with the bad. And then this is when I was adding in, and I still add in, this is my vitamin D. I added in 10,000 units a day, and it took that much to get it from a 16 to a 54. Vitamin D. That's why I don't understand what McDougall's talking about as far as the whole can't supplement with vitamin D. Here's IGF-1. Now, if this is high, you are not losing weight. Mine is within range, but it's high. And then here, this came down to 2.48. Copper is low. I don't know why. I just started taking a copper. No one really seemed to know why it was low. And then the T4 started going up. Where here? So here we go again. So 2022, I'm adding in quite a bit of sugar at this point. The TSH starts going down and the T4 starts going up. And again, here we go with that's within range. So 0.61 to 1.12. Cortisol went down to 17.6. Keep that in mind. And then the DHEA is fine. This is fine. Copper with me taking, oh no, that's still around the same date. And then here, this is the 28th of September. So you see my thyroid with me really pumping down the sugar, 1.89. So that's gone down quite a bit. And then the T4 has gone up again. And the cortisol went from 17.6 the last time to 12.7. And we're golden. And then now you see with me adding in sugar, testosterone went from 265 the last time to 404. So I'm going to end the video here because I know this has not been a very entertaining video. This is more just kind of boring. I'm going to cut this up as much as I possibly can because I know this is not the most entertaining of videos, but it tells you what you need to know. This is why I say get your blood work. I've got a lot of blood work here between the Cleveland Clinic, whose site sucks, and University Hospitals, which site works a lot better. So this is actually why I go to UH, because their website is a lot easier to navigate through. But the labs at Cleveland Clinic are way better, but the website at UH is way better. So it's a give and take. Anyway, that is it in a nutshell. The only thing that has changed is I add in a lot of sugar. What do I mean by a lot of sugar? Like it's not unusual for me to add a pound in a day. A pound of sugar, so that, you know, it's just I weigh it out on a little kitchen scale that I got upstairs, and I make sure I go through it in a day. And this is the levels. Now, my weight has not changed. You have got to get these levels to where you need them before your weight is going to start really budging. And now I can definitely see, like in my neck, when I look in the mirror, I can start seeing like vascularity or nerves or whatever in there. I could start seeing it in my hands, my arms, my legs. The gut is always going to be the last to go. If you wherever you store fat, the easiest is always going to be the last to go. Always, it will pull fat. And I know you can't spot fat cleanse yourself. Your body's going to pull from where it wants to. It really, everybody says it pulls from all over. It kind of does, but it really is very specific on where it pulls from first. Mine just tends to be my arms and my legs, and then the gut just whenever it feels like it. The whole torso, matter of fact, is a dumping ground for fat with my body, and everything else just gets like sucked in, and I look like a damn bodybuilder with a gut, you know. But wherever you store fat is going to be that way. If you store fat in your butt, it's not going to pull that until everything else is cleaned out. So that is food literally for thought. And hopefully this video did do some good. Hopefully I can cut this thing up enough where it's somewhat entertaining. If not, you know, try to bear with it, you know, because it's just the information is what you need to know. And there you go. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.